Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Liaquat Zaman, and we are going through a little explanation. I think we're going to show you, because a lot of people have been asking me about this issue with regards to the COVID-19 situation and praying Taraweeh at home with the Mus'haf. So the question is, can the Imam read from a Quran? Okay, so this is the ultimate question that people have been asking. Can he read? So from a scholar's point of view, there seems to be the four madhabs on this issue seem to be a bit like this, just roughly. If I just draw it out like this. So the Shafi'is, let's just put SH for the Shafi'is. Shafi'is say yes, it's allowed. So what color should I give it? Green. Yes, you can read. The Hanbalis, they seem to say yes, it's allowed. The Malikis, they seem to say differentiate in the Fard Salat and in Nafil Salat. So in the Fard Salat, no. Big red there. And in Nafil, they have some details regarding that. Right, so kind of yes, and maybe I'll put like a kind of no. Right, so you got like two positions. Let me just make that a bit black. Right, and the Hanafis, which I'm going to be talking about today, Hanafi. Now I'm not giving you a really detailed overview of all the madhabs, because what tends to happen is that in the madhabs you do get like positions which are considered to be, differed, right? Like over the years, the historical sort of like differences. So I'm not going into all that, right? And I know some people in the comments are going to be saying, well, there are some Malikis who allow it, or some Hanbalis who don't allow it, etc. That's fine. What I'm going to be focusing on is the general overview, so people can have a better sort of understanding of this. So the Hanafis, there are two positions here, right? So if I was to maybe bring this up, because this is the main sort of like position we're mentioning. So Imam Abu Hanifa and his two students, Abu Yusuf and Muhammad. Right, these are his two students. Right, so on this issue, Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, he says absolutely no. Nope, in any salat at all. Abu Yusuf and Muhammad, they actually say that, well, if I put it this way, if I say kind of, now the reason I'm saying kind of, question mark, I'll put question mark there, as though it doesn't really mean that it's allowed. It just means that there's a little discussion here, kind of discussion. So why does Abu Hanifa rahimahullah say it's not allowed? Now, you see, what you need to remember at the Hanafi school is, when we discuss Hanafi school, imagine like a timeline, right? So imagine this is 0, right, Hijri, and imagine this is us over here, let's say 1400, and then that's about 700, and then that's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Right? So generally what tends to happen is Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah and his students were over here in this era, okay? Abu Hanifa was there, and his students, right, they were like all the way around about up to here. Okay, so whenever they said something or they discussed a matter, this matter that they discussed was actually recorded in some books, right? So their opinions were actually recorded. So let's say Abu Hanifa, and let's say his students Let's give another color, like light blue or something. Their opinions were recorded. Now what happened was, it's been recorded that Abu Hanifa said no, and Abu Yusuf and Muhammad say kind of. When I say kind of, what they mean, they say that it's makruh, right? Which basically means the salat will be done, but it's going to be extremely offensive, like extremely kind of like wrong what they've done. But the salat will be done. And so when you have this kind of situation, later scholars, they in the madhab, they'll bring evidences to justify each position. So maybe we don't have a reason why Abu Hanifa has said this, but later Hanafis might mention this. So for example, like in the 400s, you had Imam Sarakhsi, SRK, yeah, and let's say in the 6 over there you had Imam Hidayah, and you had Imam Badai Sanai as well, and let's say for example over here you had Imam Ibn Nujaym, Bahr Raiq, Al-Bahr, and so forth, right? And then over here you had Imam Ibn Abidin, call him the Ibn Abidin over here. So you had various scholars over the years who kind of like try to explain the reasonings, right, of these scholars. Okay, so this is one thing we need to be aware of. So what was the explanations that later scholars they got for this? So they had two issues they raised for Abu Hanifa, right? So one of the issues basically is that this is going to lead to what is known as excessive movements. Excessive movement. So excessive movement, according to Hanafis, is something which nullifies your salat. So for example, if a person is playing, or a person's talking, or a person's eating, or a person's, moving their arms around like that, it seems as though they're not in salat. So when the person is reading Quran, he's going to be holding a Quran, and so there's going to be excessive movements, as though he's going to be turning the pages, because remember the Qurans in them days were quite big as well, right? So you don't have too many ayahs on each page, so you're going to be flicking them over, and so excessive movements. This is why it's not allowed. And the second reason is what is known as is external support. So external support in your salat is considered to be nullifying your salat, right? They call this talqin wa talaqqun. It's like the external support. You're getting support from outside. Imagine someone reading Quran and you're kind of repeating it after them, right? Or any of that kind of thing. So you're getting this like learning and teaching going on, external support taking place. So this goes against the idea of salat, where you're supposed to be on your own. And it just seems very sort of strange where you're praying your salat, but there's someone else on the outside kind of like supporting you. So that's wrong. Abu Yusuf and Muhammad, their argument actually is none of this. They don't. The later scholars don't really mention these 2 points for Abu Yusuf and Muhammad. They mention another point, right? That point is one point, which is it resembles the practice of Ahl al-Kitab, the Jews and Christians. That's why it's considered to be quite wrong, because you're resembling people of the book. Ahl al-Kitab, you're resembling what they're doing. So when you're resembling what the Ahl al-Kitab are doing, it's like you're doing something which is not unique to the Muslims. Like, what's the reason for this? Why are you, resembling the Ahl al-Kitab in this issue, right? So, our ibadah, Muslims should be different from Ahl al-Kitab. We shouldn't be the same. So this is but they say this isn't as bad. This isn't so bad that it will render your salat nullified. No, rather it's something disliked, right? Now, this is the main sort of like issue that the Hanafis have raised. So if you kind of like look at it from this point of view, the salat is not allowed. As in, according to Abu Hanifa, absolutely, and according to Abu Yusuf and Muhammad, they say it's salat will be done, but it's makruh tahrimi, according to many of the scholars, considered makruh tahrimi. Now, some people have said that when we say this is for example, like resembling the people of the book, Imam Shafi'is and Hanbalis, they actually totally allow it. So when we talk about resembling the people of the book, it doesn't seem to be something which is such a thing in their religion, because they pray. So if we pray, is that resembling their religion? Or for example, they go to places of worship. If we go to places of worship, is that resembling their religion? And maybe Jews keep beards, so does that mean Muslims shouldn't keep beards because that's resembling them as well? Right. So in other words, it's not resembling in everything. There has to be certain things resembling them in certain things. Right. So this is why, like I say, the resembling of the Ahl Kitab has to be something which is looked at, as in them days there was a certain sort of understanding of resembling, and in today's days there might be a different one. But anyway, this is the main thing. Now the Hanafis, later Hanafis, have actually said that if a person is a Hafiz, now for example, like, okay, let's say there is a person, let's get another piece of paper here because I don't want to write just on one paper, another piece of paper. So let's say, for example, like there is, so let's go through these then. So let's say there's a guy, and this guy is praying, and in his hand he has a mushaf. Right, so he's got like one of those big copies of the Quran in his hand, and he's praying his salat. Right, so he's got like salat, praying his salat, and clearly you can see he's going to have to, quite a lot of movements going to have to take place. So this is obviously problematic. But what if he was a bit innovative and he came out with a table, right, or some sort of like I don't know, one of those stands, what do you call them, all those choir stands or reading stand, I don't know what it's called, and he put the mushaf on there and he's reading it from there. So then that overcomes the first point that Abu Hanifa mentions, right? Let's overcome that one. But still, the external support one is a strong point. That's why a lot of the later Hanafis have emphasized this issue of getting external support in the salat. External support, as in he's kind of learning. This is, however, not the case if the person is a Hafiz. If the person is a Hafiz of Quran, the Hanafis have actually said he's allowed to, so Hafiz and memorize the Quran, because he's not really, if he had, like, let's say, I don't know, nowadays maybe you got on a stand or you got an iPad or something and you've got it standing there, and for your salats you simply just you don't really move the pages, but you turn them afterwards. They say it's fine. It's actually fine because he's not really learning from there. He's just making sure he's not making mistakes. So he's already memorized the Quran, and he's just looking at it just as a kind of like a guide, just in case he makes mistakes. So for the Hafiz, they've actually allowed it, right? They've actually allowed it for that. But for the others, they've not allowed. And that's it basically. So that's what the Hanafis have mentioned about this issue, and I thought I'd clarify it because a lot of people are asking me, can I use the Quran? Can I not use the Quran? From a Hanafi point of view, from a textual point of view, it seems as though it wouldn't be allowed. But I mean, if a person was to take the position of Abu Yusuf and Muhammad rahimahullah on this, and not use a stand or something, then there would be more scope. As in this one, that's why I wrote kind of, because there seems to be more possibility for discussion on this point here. Anyway, Jazakumullah khair. Majority of the Hanafis, by the way, are on this position here, the talqeen position, although others have mentioned in the fatwa books positions of others who have discussed this. Jazakumullah khair. Let me know, inshallah, what kind of masail, maybe some issue you want me to clarify for you guys. You can put in the comments, inshallah, and I might even just consider it. Jazakumullah khair. I hope you guys have a wonderful Ramadan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.